Leaks of sensitive national security information have plagued the Trump administration, and now one of the top suspects has just left her job at the White House. And One America's Neil W. McCabe joins us live now at the White House with more. Neil, the Deputy Executive Secretary for the National Security Council, has left her post amid allegations of being a leaker. What exactly is she being accused of?
Yeah, that's right, Rachel. Megan Badish is leaving her post, and she's being pegged as the person who leaked 3 major, very damaging, sensitive national security phone calls. The first was during the transition between President-elect Donald Trump and the president of Taiwan. The second is a phone call in February 2017 between Trump and the Prime Minister of Australia. That call dealt with President Barack Obama's pledge to resettle more than 1,000 refugees who are in Australia and to settle them in the United States. And then in March, the President was calling Russian President Vladimir Putin about his election or re-election. And of course, the staffers had told the President not to congratulate Putin. And of course, that leak exposed that not only was he told not to, that the President had gone ahead and done it, Rachel.
So, Neil, did your sources there in D.C. tell you why Badish is the suspect?
Right. So what it comes down to is that there were no real leaks during the campaign of this sort of character and sensitivity. However, right after the election, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who was then still in charge of the transition, he had no plan, he had no process in place for handling phone calls from foreign leaders. And it was into this sort of maelstrom that Badish walked in, and she took over that role from Ron McCabe, who was Trump's long-term assistant, who was really doing it without help or guidance from anyone. So Badish had that role of handling the foreign leader calls, and she kept it when she joined the White House. And so when people look, from the transition through, just recently with the call with Putin, the only person who was consistently involved in the calls, who would have known the details, was Badish. In fact, in the leak that was involved the Australian Prime Minister, a senior official was quoted in the Washington Post saying that this was the worst call yet out of all of them. And of course, the only person involved with all those calls was Badish, Rachel.
All right, so my last question to you, Neil. Now, just to clarify, was she fired or did she resign?
My sources are telling me that even though she was pegged as the source of the leaks, she was not fired. She had a very close relationship with National Security Advisor Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster. They worked closely together, they traveled together, and what these sources told me is that with John Bolton coming in to replace McMaster on her own, she sort of decided it was time to move on.
We can use your help. Call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call today.